Aquarius, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of December. So before I get into the energy of the month, because as usual, we have a lot going on, this is most applicable for your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. It's how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through your emotional lens. And so just to talk high level, we have Neptune, Mercury, and Chiron all stationed direct in the month of December. We have 2 new moons. And then we also have Mars stationed retrograde. And that one is significant because it only happens every 2 years. So, like I said, a lot happening. So right away, kicking off the month on December 1st at 1:21 in the morning Eastern time. Now, Eastern time, I'm on the East Coast. And so if you're in a different time zone, if you're on the West Coast or Mountain Time or anything else within the United States or any time zone after mine, then this is probably going to affect you or it's going to take effect on November 30th instead of December 1st. And so for me, it is at 1:21 in the morning Eastern time, and it's the new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. For you, Aquarius, and this is impacting your 11th house of friendships. So this might be the way that you're expressing yourself in your friendships, feels really good, feels very authentic. You're spending time with your friends. You're really enjoying their company. There's like a growth, optimism, all kinds of really positive energy coming out of these types of conversations. And this one's really positive. This new moon in general is really positive. I like how it's impacting your friendships. This new moon will also trine Mars in Leo. So now Leo is your opposite sign. So what this means here is Mars is a planet of action sitting in your opposing sign, which means it's impacting your significant relationship here. If you're married, it's your marriage partner or your significant other. Like if you're living with somebody or you're in some sort of long-term commitment, it really is that long-term commitment with another person. It's that specific relationship here. This new moon energy really easily blends with whatever action you're taking in that relationship, whatever it is that you want to do there. This new moon will also trine Chiron retrograde in Aries. So any kind of, this seems more like a misunderstanding. So if you've had issues with your friends in the past and there have been miscommunications, misunderstandings that have taken place probably throughout the course of this year, this is giving you an opportunity to really work on that wound, maybe understand the complexities behind it, the root of it, what triggered it, all of it, because that sun and moon in Sagittarius, trying that Chiron, I mean, this is an easy back and forth of energy. There might be conversations where this is just organically coming to the surface. This new moon will also square Saturn in Pisces. And so Pisces for you rules your second house of personal finances. So this is the money that you already have. It's the investments that you already own. Anything that you have that's of value. In fact, that is pretty much what the house is all about. It's anything that you value is in this house, more the tangible type of thing. And so Saturn in Pisces is about you working on your financial goals, or kind of, if you're an investor or a collector of some sort, really putting the effort and energy in to find your next piece or to do whatever you need to do from an investment standpoint. And so now during this new moon, because it is more focused on your friends, your family, or more your friends, the 11th house is your community. So it's the people you surround yourself with by choice. And so sometimes that is kind of your kind of family is included in that, depending on who you spend your time with. Because of that energy, it is going to make it more difficult for you to work on those kind of financial goals or to kind of pursue something here that you value. And I am just getting the sense of friends and family. I mean, this is really coming up the weekend after Thanksgiving. So you might still be spending time with family or just more in that energy, because new moon, just like with all the other energies, it's a building energy. And so anyway, we're just going to keep moving on here. I just like the way this is playing out for you. We do have this new moon opposite Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, and it's because Sagittarius and Gemini are opposing signs. And so because this is sitting in your 11th house, a lot of growth, optimism sitting in those relationships here. Any kind of internal growth and expansion that you have related to your passions, your hobbies, if something here maybe related to children. And so this is where it's going to be a little bit more difficult because it is an opposition energy. It's going to take a lot more effort and energy to work through this one. And it's more of, are these kind of external communications with other people, are they the priority? How do you feel about that? Maybe clearing up some misunderstandings here, or getting to the root of what the misunderstanding actually is and what triggered it, versus anything that you want to grow from a passions or kind of children type of aspect. And then on the 6th, we have Mars station retrograde in the sign of Leo. So that happens at 6:33 p.m. Eastern time. And so Mars and Leo, again, it's sitting in your 7th house. So this is that significant relationship in your life, long-term relationship, marriage partner if you're married. Instead of taking any kind of action in the relationship itself, this action is now directed inward. What is it that you need to do for yourself as it relates to this connection? That is going to easily flow with whatever conversations you're having with your friends, the way that you're expressing yourself, the impact of those conversations. And again, kind of thinking back to Chiron, clearing up misunderstandings here. And so I like the way that this Mars retrograde starts out for you, because there is a trine to both the Sun and Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. And so it's a lot of focus on all the relationships, all those important relationships in your life, your friend, your family, and your significant other. This Mars retrograde in Leo will be opposite Venus in Capricorn. And so Venus in Capricorn is sitting in your 12th house. That house is your internal self. And so when you think about the actions that you want to take as it relates to your significant other, it's going to be very different than anything that you want to, maybe anything that you value about yourself or that you love about yourself. There might be some kind of compromise as a way to work through this energy, but it's like you can't have all of one or all of the other. That opposition energy says you either need to pick one right now or you need to find that compromise. We also have Mars retrograde in Leo, trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so when it comes to your personal finances, whatever action that you're taking related to your significant other easily blends with whatever goals you're trying to set from a financial standpoint. And this is really about you kind of getting clarity on what those goals should be, what kind of plan do you need to put into place in order to make those a reality. So I like the way that that's playing out for you too. And then we have Mars retrograde opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so this is sitting in your sign. And so Pluto moved into your sign. We're with this energy now for roughly 20 years. And this would indicate changes to your physical self, the way that people see you. That's what the first house is all about. And so when you think about your significant other and any kind of internal change or internal action that you're taking in that relationship, it is going to be opposite to any changes that are happening to you physically, because it's more of like, are you focused on yourself or are you focused on you in connection with this other person? It is a kind of pick one or the other. And so it might just be that one being the relationship is more dominant right now. And then the same, well, it's not the same day. It's really just like hours later, 7 hours later, we have Venus enter the sign of Aquarius. So that's going to happen on the 7th at 1:14 in the morning Eastern time. And so Venus has now entered your sign. Pluto is already in your sign. And so this is a lot of focusing on what you value about yourself, what you love about yourself, what do you need to let go of so that you can focus more on what you value and love about yourself. Anything here that just doesn't belong anymore, it's a liberating kind of change. And so I like how this plays out because Venus and Pluto are in a very close conversation with each other. And so removing anything that just doesn't belong, this is the time to do it. We have Venus opposite Mars retrograde in Leo. So we're kind of back to that me versus we mentality again, where if you're really focused on yourself and what you love about yourself and really just trying to hold on to that, it's going to make it harder to take any kind of internal action as it relates to your significant other and that relationship. Because again, it's that me versus we. You can certainly find a compromise there or a way to kind of balance out the energies where you focus on one, focus on the other, and kind of go back and forth. And then we have Venus trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so Taurus rules your 4th house of home, and Uranus retrograde, because it's been retrograde for a little while now, I don't remember the exact date, but Uranus retrograde indicates sudden internal changes that are taking place for you in your home environment. So maybe sudden realizations about something, kind of sudden knowledge. I'm definitely getting a sudden knowledge. That is easily going to flow with what you love and value about yourself. And this Venus in Aquarius is a really positive transit for you. Venus in Aquarius will sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so that Pisces energy, again, sitting in your house of personal finances. Neptune, because it's retrograde in Pisces, this is a lot about you getting clarity on your goals. When Neptune is direct, it's kind of like, okay, how high can high be? You know, what are we trying to accomplish here? Nothing's off the table, limitless, let's go after it here. But when Neptune stationed retrograde, it was a lot of, okay, lift the fog, see the truth, what is real, what's not, what can you accomplish? And so this Venus and Aquarius energy, where you're really focused on what you love and value about yourself, it's giving you an opportunity to gain even more clarity as it relates to the goals that you need to set in your financial life. And then speaking of Neptune going direct, so we have Neptune stationed direct in the sign of Pisces on the 7th, same day, at 6:43 p.m. Eastern time, so like 12 hours later, roughly. And what this means here is you spent so much time with Neptune retrograde getting clear on what your financial goals are. Now it's time to start putting all that knowledge into action. And so with Neptune in Pisces, it's creating an opportunity for you to make changes to yourself, focus more on what you value, get rid of all the stuff that you don't, because Neptune in Pisces will sextile both Pluto and Venus in your sign. Neptune in Pisces will trine Mars retrograde in Leo. So whatever your financial goals are, easily flows with whatever internal action that you're trying to take in your significant relationship here. Neptune in Pisces will sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So when it comes to your home life, these financial goals that you set for yourself, they're creating an opportunity for more changes to take place in your home environment. And this is really how you perceive your home environment, these kind of sudden awakenings, sudden realization, kind of this sudden knowledge of, oh, I always thought it was this way, or I always interpret it this way, and it's really that way. That would be the kind of information that you're receiving with Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so this is giving you an opportunity, or really putting it out for the universe, because the universe is going to take advantage of this one here, but more information, kind of more realizations to happen for you. And then on the 15th, we have the full moon in the sign of Gemini. And so we've got the sun in Sagittarius, we've got the moon in Gemini here. And so with the sun in Sagittarius, this is in your 11th house. So think of the community around you, your friends, your close family, the people that you choose to spend your time with. It's those, the way that you're expressing yourself with those people, it's going to be opposite how you feel about your passion projects or children or something else, because it's more of, where do you spend your time? Because that's what it's coming down to. Are you spending time working on your projects, children, or are you spending time with friends and family? That's the opposition that's coming into play here. And it's not just that the sun is opposite the moon, because that's not the only planet in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter is actually in the sign of Gemini, and it's retrograde. And so with this Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, if you've been thinking about growing your family, having more children, pursuing more projects, or kind of doing something to grow and expand the projects that you already have, that is going to be opposite the way that you're expressing yourself right now with your friends, with your family, in that community that you choose. And so again, it's more of, where are you spending your time, and what are your goals here specifically? And because the sun is opposite those two, and they're both sitting in Gemini energy, the moon is actually conjunct Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So how you feel completely aligns with all the growth and expansion that you want as it relates to children or passion projects or whatever that is for you. The sun and moon during this full moon are actually forming a T-square to Neptune in Pisces. And so what this means is the way that you're talking to your friends, the conversations that you're having, the way they're expressing yourself, kind of optimistic, high-level conversations, it's making it difficult for you to really pursue your financial goals right now. Same thing with that moon in Gemini energy, because part of your, like, if you think about children or your passion projects, you might need to spend more money. That makes it difficult for you to really work on your financial goals. Same thing with your friends and family. You might be going to a place like a restaurant or something that requires you to spend money. That might be conflicting with the financial goals that you've set for yourself. And so this is where you can certainly find a way to balance all this energy. You just have to put the effort into it, because it is a square for both of them to that financial goal. And then we do have the sun and moon. They're both in a positive aspect to some sort of wound here. So the sun in Sagittarius will trine Chiron retrograde in Aries. And so when you think about that misunderstanding, or that that wound might be connected to your friends and family in some respect, Because what's coming up here is these conversations that you're having, the way that you're expressing yourself with your friends and family, it is helping you understand and figure out a way to really address that wound or that misunderstanding. The way that you feel about maybe children, your passion projects, things like that, that also provides an opportunity for you to really work on that wound, really kind of clear up any misunderstandings or whatever it is for you. And then the same day as the full moon, we have Mercury stationed direct in the sign of Sagittarius. So that's also on the 15th at 3:56 in the afternoon Eastern time. Now, we do have the post shadow. Mercury will be out of the post shadow on January 2nd. So we're still with this kind of for a couple of weeks, but that retrograde energy is dissipating. So all of the misconceptions, the not clear communication, all of that's going to clear up. Things are going to get easier. It's going to be much more direct conversations with other people. And for you, this is sitting in your house, your 11th house. So it is your community, it's your friends, your family, those people that you choose to be around. So I like the way that that's playing out for you because it's kind of more of those conversations. And I mean, it's the holidays, so people tend to spend a lot of time together. This does indicate to me that you might be having a lot of kind of friends and family celebrations during this month. So I like that. And this Mercury, when it stations direct, will sextile both Venus and Pluto in your sign. So this this is a really positive aspect here. So when you think about what you want to let go of that doesn't align with who you want to be or what you value about yourself or you love about yourself, this is really giving you that opportunity. These conversations with your friends and your community around you are really giving you an opportunity to make more of those adjustments in your life. This Mercury in Sagittarius will also trine Mars retrograde in Leo. And so these conversations that you're having in your community, the people around you, easily blends with whatever internal action that you want to take as it relates to your significant other. Mercury will be opposite Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, but this is not a surprise because you got Sagittarius energy, Gemini, they're opposing signs. And so these conversations, just like we saw with the full moon, just these conversations that you're having with your friends and family, they're going to be opposite any kind of internal growth that you're going after as it relates to children or your passion projects, things like that. And then we have Mercury square Saturn in Pisces. And so Saturn in Pisces is a lot of working on your financial goals. And so it's more of, now's probably not the right time to work on your financial goals while you're out celebrating, enjoying the company of your friends and family, because there is a square energy here. So it just would require more effort for you to take the time now to work on those goals, but you certainly could if you wanted to. And we have Mercury trine Neptune in Pisces. And so these kind of conversations that you're having, they're easily going to blend. And this is where it's interesting because it's easily going to blend with your financial goals. So you might be talking about what your financial goals are. You're just not actually working on them because the emphasis right now is more on the thought and the communication, that air energy of expressing exactly what it is that you want to do rather than the earth energy of let me put the effort into this and make this happen. We have Mercury in Sagittarius, sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so I already talked about that one. This is all about the changes that you can make to yourself. And I have it here once, but I've been picking up a dual energy from this. The Pluto in Aquarius, it's not just going to be that Venus, let me hold on to what I value about myself. Even though those are in a conjunction, I continue to pick up, are there other changes that you want to make in your life? Because this is giving you an opportunity to make other changes to who you are physically. And so just kind of keep that in mind around the middle of the month and just kind of the energy that you're experiencing there. Lean into it. And then on the 21st at 4:21 in the morning Eastern time, we have the sun enter Capricorn. This is the solstice. So I like this because I'm in the northern hemisphere and we start to get more daylight every day. I'll take any minutes that we can get. And so I like it from that perspective. This here, the sun in Capricorn is going to impact your 12th house. And so your 12th house is your inner self. Capricorn, it's Saturn energy. This is all earth energy here. So whatever work that you want to do internally, whatever plans that you want to put into place, because that's Capricorn, let's put in some sort of strategy here. You might be really driven to do some sort of internal work on yourself during this time. This one here, and I'm going to talk about it more in like another transit about a week later when we have the new moon in Capricorn. But I like the way that this is coming across for you, because this is a lot of maybe setting intentions as they relate to who you want to be. And like it starts with the inside of you before it starts coming outside of you. And so it really is that core internal you. When the sun enters Capricorn, there is a square to Mercury and Sagittarius. And so you're either working on yourself internally, setting those plans, putting them into place, or you're having conversations with other people. It's really what we saw a couple of days earlier, where you're either putting the effort and energy into something, or you're just talking about something else. It's really that, which one is your focus? And then on the 29th at 4:13 in the afternoon Eastern time, we have Chiron station direct. And so Chiron for you, again, in your third house, there's a really close connection to your 11th house with this wound. So there might be misunderstandings, misconceptions, a need to see things differently. Like you've always thought somebody was interpreting something one way and they were actually, it was completely different. And it had everything to do with the way you were brought up, or it had to do with the way that, I'm having a hard time articulating what this feels like. It feels like you were almost conditioned or traumatized in a way. Traumatized is too strong of a word, but you were made, your default setting was to kind of think the worst in the situation, and that's not the case. And so that's how this is coming across. With this Chiron in Aries, because it's now direct, when it was retrograde, it was a lot of kind of understanding. How did we get here? How did this happen? What do I need to do in order to work through it? I didn't even know this was here. A lot of that has been coming to the surface this year. And so when Chiron stations direct, it's going to trine both the moon and Mercury in Sagittarius. And so how you feel about your friends, the conversations that you're having with them, these kind of high level optimistic conversations, a lot of back and forth energy. You're going to be healing the wound at the same time that you're having these conversations. It's all going to feel really good. It's going to feel very natural, organic, like there's no additional effort or energy needed into this. So right around the new year, you might find yourself clearing up some sort of miscommunication here with the people around you. We do have Chiron sextile Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So healing this wound and whatever actions that you're taking to make that kind of heal, I can't think of another word, but really kind of closing up that wound there, it's creating an opportunity for more internal growth and expansion as it relates to children or your passions, things like that. And then on the 30th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. So that one's going to happen at 5:27 p.m. Eastern time. And so this is where I like the way that this is impacting you, because again, you've got the sun and the moon at the same degree point in the sky. And so overlapping energies, you're highlighting what kind of plans do you want to put into place. You feel really good about those plans that you're putting into place. These are long-term strategic plans. These are not kind of whimsical, impulsive type of plans like, oh, let's do this tomorrow. No, this is more of like, I've got a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plan, and I really want to do some things for myself. And this does relate to your inner self, your spiritual self. During this new moon, there is a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. And so whatever plans that you're putting into place for yourself, it's creating an opportunity for you to really work on your financial goals. And so that might be part of the plan that you're putting into place. You might need to adjust your mindset when it comes to finances. And this is giving you that opportunity to really do it. It will square, so this new moon in Capricorn will square Chiron in Aries. And so because you're doing work on your inner self right now and you're really putting some plans into place, now's not the time to be working on that wound or that misunderstanding that came to the surface, even if it even still exists. Because I'm just getting a really good sense of a lot of Chiron is coming up this month, but it's a lot of resolution of what this was. And so you might be experiencing kind of more of the tail end of whatever this wound is when it comes to the 30th. So, wow. Aquarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.